Hey all, Tom Moran here from Tom's Big Spiders. As some of you have noticed, I haven't been very prolific lately. Well, just to give everybody a heads up, a lot of big changes coming in my life and they're kind of interfering with the video end of things. So first off, Billy and I will be moving. We are purchasing a new house. The closing looks like it's going to be September 24th, 25th, around that area. The awesome news about that is I'll be getting a big, huge new tarantula room, which I'm very excited about setting up. And it'll allow me to actually film the videos and introductions and everything in that room, as opposed to up here right now where I'm in my stifling hot and humid attic, which is not particularly the greatest place to do these. Also, I just took a new teaching job, and unfortunately they took so long to actually extend the hire invitation to me that I had to go back to my original school. So I'm starting the year, first month there, doing all the normal stuff I would do in the beginning of the year. Then I will be jumping over to the other school and doing it all again, but this time already in the midst of the school year. And with the pandemic and COVID and all the changes to schedules and stuff, it's going to be hectic. So no, I will be back. I do have a bunch of videos shot. I just haven't had the time to do the editing part of it, so I apologize for that. But again, there's some really cool things coming up, and I think all in all, once we get settled in the new house, you'll see right away that there's going to be some huge, cool changes. For this one, we're going to do something I don't do very often. We're going to do a feeding video. As many of you know, I go on about this quite a bit. I don't do a lot of feeding videos. Feeding is a relaxing time for me when I bring my spiders, out and I feed them and I take care of them. I do all the husbandry. That's relaxing. As soon as we bring a camera into the mix, things get a little more stressful, and it takes a lot longer. When you have 200 and something animals, you don't really want to bog things down too much. However, I've had a ton of people asking, like, hey, could you please do one? I know you don't do one very often. So what we're going to do here is focus on just a couple of genera and bring out the species I have of each to kind of show them off and show what you can find out there and what's available. Hopefully, for those of you that want a feeding video, you'll enjoy this. For those of you that can't stand feeding videos, I know a couple of you have texted me privately and said, yeah, thank God you're not doing them. I apologize for this one. Feel free to skip over the video. I totally get it. So anyway, enough of me talking. Let's look at some spiders eating. All right, so I recently posted a video in which we got a bunch of Xenesthis species, and I was talking about how good of eaters they are and heavy hitters. So what we're going to do today is try to feed some of those and catch that on camera. We'll see how it goes. This one here is Xenesthis species bright, which is down in its, let me see if I can get one by the butt. It's down in its hole right now. They move so quickly. I don't know if you can see in there. Come on, buddy. There it goes. Woo! Is it on its back? Thank God. I've been seeing, it's literally probably the 10th one I've seen go to its back during a takedown. They're just nuts. They whip around, they tackle them. I had one of them fly across an enclosure, grab it, tackle it, roll over a couple times, and end up subduing it while on its back. And that's like been the norm for these guys. And this one here, when I got it, it's already molted once. They've all already molted once, with my species INTERMEDIA molting twice, I think. So they've been growing like weeds, and part of it's due to the fact that I think it's been particularly hot and humid here, and in the tarantula rooms are getting good growth rate. All right, moving on. Billy's backing away, so I guess that means I need to shut up and go on to the next one. We're going to do species white. White. Oh. Come on, you crazy cricket. There we go. Let's try this again. There we go. And I have to admit, the thing that attracted me to Phormictopus species right off the bat was the slings and the ferocity in which they hunted and fed, and these guys are right up there with them. I won't say they're better. I will never say that, but definitely amazing to watch. Now, people have been asking how I've been keeping them, because I guess there's a lot of, they're out there for sale now. These are the species, the Xenesthis species, you don't see them offered all that much. When they do, they tend to go quickly because people are trying to get them, although they're very expensive. I've been keeping part of the substrate moist. Haven't gotten a lot of burrowing out of them yet. I know Xenesthis SP.BLUE I don't keep as moist as some of the other ones, because supposedly they're in places where it's a bit more arid and dry, but I do make sure. I did notice one of them seemed to congregate around the moist spot. So as far as I'm concerned, if I have a spider and it seems to appreciate some moisture, it's going to get some moisture. So I did give them room to dig. Nobody's, for the most part, has been digging. Although the, which one here? The one we just did, the species bright, has been doing some burrowing. But they're often right out in the open. Now, the next one, I'm not sure if this one's going to eat. We'll try it out. This is one of the other species blues. This one might be in pre-molt, so I'll give it a try. And this one will be getting, there's a bunch of these will be getting rehoused soon. I referred to these, I think, in my podcast. I talked about how I put them in enclosures that I thought were going to be a bit too big, and they molted once and grew into them. And not in pre-molt. Oh, that's a gooey one. Gooey, gooey. All right. If I ever find myself in a feeding competition again, we now have other big guns besides it's the Phormictopus species, Xenesthis species, and Theraphosa all hit like trucks as slings, and they're all super fast. All right, next up we have Xenesthis species Intermedia. This one just molted, started picking up some of that purple on the carapace. I'm going to give her a big one. No, I'm not. Yep, yes I am. All right, here we go. What the? Is this for real? Come on. Come on. Wait for it. I would poke it in the butt, but they jump so far that I'm afraid she'll hit the tongs. Move, cricket, move. Oh, for crying out loud. It's like she knows. There it is. That's exactly what I was talking about. Hit like trucks. These guys, the thing that blew me away with these so far is that a lot of times when I have smaller slings or like 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches, I feed them like medium-sized crickets or so. These guys, 1.25 inches, we're taking down large crickets, no problem. Those big legs, they use them to their advantage. They wrap them up. Again, some somersaulting. Look at them go. Yeah, and the purple's coming out in the carapace. They're just gorgeous as juveniles. Beautiful girl. Again, this one's molted once, just molted. And actually, for the people who complain about, actually, I don't want to take it out right now. I'm not going to take the molt out right now, but I will take it out afterwards because, again, there's the contingency of people there that get really perturbed if you don't pull molts out immediately. And here we have the species, or blue female, Xenesthis. She's a big girl. Oh. Not as big of a cricket as I was hoping for, but might drop in 2 for her. Oh, this could be good. Or it could be nothing. She's actually kind of, oh, there we go. All right. She's getting a little shiny in the booty. I was actually wondering if she was going to eat. They've been eating like fantastically, so it's easier to fill them up quickly. Obviously, if you have a smaller sling or a smaller juvenile and you're feeding them full adult crickets, they're going to put on side, well, they're going to go into pre-molt much more quickly. And that's what's been happening with these. Man, we got dogs walking, slurping, shaking. It's like the old times. So that's Xenesthis species blue. That one is a female. We're going to go back and try to do the IMMANIS and see if she'll take one. Should not be in pre-molt yet, so. Might be the lights that are bothering her. It's usually a voracious eater.
She's showing us her booty at least.
And she's putting up a defense. Oh, there we go. All right. Tried this earlier and it didn't work. Get a close up of her there. The butt right in the air, that defensive posture. Here we go. I'm glad we got her to eat. I was trying to get them all. I wanted to do all the Xenesthis species, but of course she was being a little recalcitrant. But there we go. This time we didn't spook her, and she ate. And this one's already molted twice. This is one I got from Tom Patterson. And growing like a weed. She'll be getting rehoused very soon out of this because this is already too small for her. All right, so next up we're going to try to feed some of the Phormictopus species. These guys are usually heavy hitters for me. First one up is my female Phormictopus ATRICHOMATUS, who just molted, who daintily picked up that roach. I mean, that cricket. That was not what I was expecting. These guys usually take 2 or 3 a pop. It'll be interesting because one of the things I've noticed with my Phormictopus is some will take, if you drop in 20 crickets, they'll grab up all 20. Some will grab 2 and start threat posturing. The other ones are running away from him. So we'll give this one 3. Oh, no. One more. There you go. Oh yeah, nice and mushy. You're nice and close to that. These guys have been a lot like Cancerides. They look a lot like Cancerides, but temperament-wise, they're very, very... Granted, my Cancerides are pretty laid back too, but these guys have been particularly laid back, kind of shy. This one will sometimes lazily retreat to her burrow when I open up the top of the enclosure, which I find kind of endearing. She doesn't really bolt to it. She's just kind of like, I'm out of here. But gorgeous spider, putting on quite a bit of size. I believe she's about 7.5 inches now. It's a big girl. All right, so far so good. I have had an issue with these guys starting to go out to explore more lately, which can be a little frightening when you're... What do we got here? Make sure this is another ATRICHOMATUS who's getting a new house pretty soon because I'm retiring these boxes, I think. Get a shot of that one. You want to eat that, buddy? Nothing? There we go. There we go. That's usually, yeah. Oh, here's a big one for it. Boop. You see with the species green femurs, especially, the green femurs will only grab like 2, and then they kind of bat the other ones away. They'll eat 2, and then they'll come back and eat the other ones later on. It looks like we have some stuff that needs to be cleaned out of here, so I'll take that out. So one of the things I do want to make clear, because I don't do a lot of feeding videos, because feeding time is kind of my relaxation time, and it's when I do all the husbandry, so I pull out boluses and clean water dishes, and you kind of can't pause a feeding video to do that, so just know that I do go through, clean these out, clean the water dishes, clean out boluses after the cameras go off, which is why these are so much fun, because it takes so much longer because you're doing everything twice. So there we go, Phormictopus ATRICHOMATUS, part 2. Now we'll get here. Next up, we have Phormictopus species purple, which I'm pretty sure I bought 3 of these several years ago, and this one molted. We'll pull the molt out. No, we'll do that afterwards after it feeds. This one is, I don't know if this is the purplish one. No, this is the one that kind of looks, a little purplish. I have another one that's really purple, and I have another one that just looks like straight up Cancerides. This is one of the ones that people thought might be its own species, but it's suspected they're just different colors of Cancerides. There we go. They're eating rather daintily today. Of course, I'm dropping it right in front of them. No, there we go. I do want to get this molt out because I want to compare it to my Cancerides molt. Last time I did, the females looked exactly the same, which would indicate that it's the same species. And now she's retreating to her den. That's kind of cute. Oh, there's some purples coming in there.
Yeah.
I should stop talking until I actually look at what's coming in the camera. All right, so this is the one that's purple. This is why I refer to the Dominicans as violets, because they have that deeper bluish purple that's just stunning. We'll be seeing those in a minute. Hopefully we'll be seeing those. They're crazy. We'll get this out of here so I can remind me this is the one I want to look at the Spermatheca on, because I want to compare it to my Cancerides. So there we go. Phormictopus species purple, most likely just some type of purple Cancerides. Beautiful nonetheless. All right, the next one was the one that was sold to me as blue, that God only knows what this is. Unfortunately, she will probably never be bred because I can't breed something that if I don't know what species it is. And it definitely doesn't look like the ones that are being sold as blue in Europe. She's more of a greenish. Let's see if... More of an olive greenish now. There we go. No. Oh, you know why? Because this is one of the ones that gets startled. Well, at least we're getting some good pictures of her. They'll calm down. Usually they reset. And they'll go, oh, wait a minute. I can eat this. In this case... come on. This one molted about, what, 2 months ago, maybe? At least you can see the colors coming out. Not the same. I've had people go, oh, it looks like species green. This one has been an adult for quite some time, a large spider for quite some time, and the colors look nothing like any of the other species greens I've raised up. Also, the colors after her latest molt, although she obviously does have green on, it does not look the same as the species green. Gorgeous nonetheless. Hopefully someday these get identified, or they do a little more looking at the genus, working on the taxonomy, and we figure out exactly what we got here. I'm going to try dropping one more in just in case. No, she's not going to eat. Well, anyway, beautiful spider. Kind of disappointing that she didn't grab something there. This, as soon as we put the cover back on, put her away, she'll go back into hunting mode and eat. I'm just going to poke. No, 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 no. This is what I'm saying. They do this weird thing where they get scared off from the food sometime, and they're big bad Phormictopus. All right, we're going to put her away because obviously we're bothering her. I do feel badly about that. Next one up, Phormictopus auratus, I believe. Yep. Beautiful gold Cuban species. Here we go. Boop. Oh, there we go. These guys were very shy as slings, almost fossorial. Here we go, there's another one for you. Didn't come out very much. Kind of shy eaters. They weren't as great eaters as other Phormictopus species I was keeping at that time. Kind of threw me off, but they've outgrown that now. They're perfect eaters. I love, look at the colors on that. That bronze gold. Like right now on the phone, it looks more of a bronze. The angle I'm looking at looks more gold. All right, two is her limit right now. Gorgeous spiders. I have two that are females. My buddy Lewis has a male, but unfortunately I don't think these guys are big enough to pair yet. His male is quite large, and I have this thing about putting larger males in with females. I guess I could try it, but they don't quite look like the size yet. But wow, look at that. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous spiders. And apparently these were offered rather recently and people have been picking them up. So this is what you have to look forward to. I think the gold started showing around the 3.5, 4 inch mark, if I remember correctly. You're going up here. All right, next up we have Phormictopus cancerides, one of the ones that started it all. Don't ever usually have problems with these guys eating. Although these guys have been trying to climb out lately. And yeah. What the heck? What? Oh, here we go. It's weird because this has been something that's been happening with a lot of them lately, where they either threat pose or freak out because the cricket goes in there and startles them, or they do this thing. Hold on. No, no, you're going to eat. You're going to eat. Please eat. What the heck? You gotta clean her water dish out too. She got dirt in it. No. It's like this one won't be eating either, which I find odd because these guys are usually pigs. Anyhow, usually voracious eaters. Usually will pick up 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 crickets at a time, no problem. Mash them up into a big old cricket burrito. But sometimes you start. That's one thing I've noticed with these guys lately is they can be startled, like they're not expecting food to come in, and then it takes them a minute to eat, and then all of a sudden they turn around, they're eating. So we'll go ahead and put the cap back on. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like she's going to. Let me just try her one more. Seriously, I'm shocked. Here. No, I don't think she's in primo, so we'll see. We'll check later. Now, just so everybody knows, you don't want to leave live prey in there. I drop a few in here. What'll happen is, at the end of filming, I usually keep these guys out for a little while, make sure they eat. If they don't eat, I'll pull the crickets out and won't leave them in there with her just in case. I do not believe she's in pre-molt. I believe we probably startled her and she's going to reset and eat later on, but just in case, we'll take them out as she starts to act like she's going to hunt. All right, next up. Hopefully these ones eat. What do we got here? Phormictopus species full green that is in desperate need of a molt because it's not showing the green colors. Oh, no, it's looking kind of green. Actually, it's looking like the one we just fed earlier that I said didn't look like this. Let's see if they're eating. There we go. Thank you. Let's see if we can get one more. Now these guys, right after a molt, the green is brilliant, and like most tarantulas, as they get further and further away from that molt, they tend to dull out a bit. So I've had people see pictures of them and go, oh, I thought they'd be much more green. They start out much more green, dull out, look more of this olive brownish color, but right after a molt, they are spectacular, and they usually keep it for a couple months. Let me drop one more in. You want to eat? There you go, eat it, please. One more. No, there we go. These are the ones that, the greens and the green femurs are the ones that will take two and they're done and they won't take another one after that. Oh, there we go. Make me look like a liar. So there we go, Phormictopus species. Now the difference between these and the ones that we refer to as green femurs is these, the green runs down the femurs. You can see it on the legs, and they have some on the carapace, which gives them an overall green look to them. All right, next up, the crazy ones. The species violets, who have both molted recently, and if I can get them to pose, they are both spectacular. All right, here we go. Oh boy. Oh, thank gosh. These are glorious. I'm gonna drop another one in there before I talk about it. I don't know if it's showing or not, but that violet that you see on the carapace is like an indigo on the femurs, and then it actually extends down into that striping on the knees. There's a faint purplish tinge to it. Stunning spiders. Both of them now look the same. One of them, I don't know which one is which, but one of them that I used to use as the picture on my Tom's Big Spiders page, my YouTube page, had more of a pinkish carapace now. They now both have that dark look to them. So if the light's not on them, the carapace tends to look purple. The legs tend to look blackish. But as soon as you get a light on them, these are the colors you get. Ugh. Throw one more in there. There you go. And I know some people have been picking these up, so again, this is what you have to look forward to. This is why I love Phormictopus. So anybody out there that's telling you Phormictopus are just big, boring brown spiders has no idea what they're talking about. So we have Phormictopus species violet part 1. Now let's do Phormictopus species violet part 2. Yep, this one's going to be a little... Just going to make sure they don't come out. The Phormictopus have been trying to escape lately. These guys are all getting 10-gallon aquariums pretty soon. All right, so here we go. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man.
And this one looks more purpley.
Yeah, it does look more purpley. This is like the pink one, I think.
Purpley.
Billy's phone ringing in the background.
Sorry.
I thought it was mine for a minute, and I'm like, that's impossible. I'm going to get one more. So again, if you can find these guys, I've heard them called Phormictopus cautus violet. Phormictopus cautus is a Cuban species. I believe it's brown. As far as I know, it hasn't entered the U.S. hobby. These guys are not from Cuba. The slings are blue, like the ones from the island of Hispaniola. They get this purple color starting around 3.5 inches. You see some purple show up, and then by the time they hit about 5 inches, you really see some beautiful colors. Oof, this is ending on a high note because that thing is absolutely, there it is, my lord. And that's a female, that's the other thing. So no hate against Pamphos, but a lot of the Pamphos, the females tend to get more of a brown coloration as they get older. They lose some of that. Like for example, my Pamphobedia species Durans, both hit the 4-inch mark, were both this brilliant, almost fuchsia color, but then the female lost it while the male keeps it. This is a female right here, Phormictopus. Obviously, she has kept those colors. God bless her for posing for the camera here, because some of the best footage I think we've gotten of these guys. So if you can find them, Phormictopus species Dominican Igo violet. I've heard some people call them purples, but considering they were originally called cautus violets, I'm carrying the violet over. I'm pulling the Tom Moran card and saying they're going to be violet now. So, people go, aren't they purple? I've always called them violet. We're going with violet. So there we go. I could just look at this all day long. Gorgeous spiders. If you can find them, grab them. Any of these species. You can find any of the Phormictopus species. Grab them. Let me know, because I love hearing people that see these on my videos and then go out and buy them. So Phormictopus species cautus violet or Phormictopus species Dominican violet. All right, next up we have one of my, what we're calling Phormictopus species green femurs. These are ones that are sold as Phormictopus South Hispaniolas, I think. Well, you can see the total appearance totally changed with the last molt, and now she has that overall green appearance. So I'm starting to wonder if all these different green species are just the same species of spider. We'll have to see, time will tell, but there's a good shot of her. Let's see if she's ready to eat. She did just molt, but yep. And this is one of the most laid back spiders I have. I have her next to my G. Porteri, the queen, in a similar cage, and they both act exactly the same, where they sit in one spot for days at a time and don't move. It's kind of funny. She'll be getting a big 10-gallon aquarium too down the road, because she's a big girl now, and I'm putting some of my bigger ones into those. Let's see if she'll eat one more. She's one that will also only take 1 or 2 crickets at a time usually. Yep, there we go. There's the kicking I was talking about earlier. Kick it away. We had one of them the other day boot one right out of an enclosure. Kicked it and the cricket flew. It was amazing. But unlike some of the other Phormictopus that we've obviously seen already, she will take like 1 or 2 crickets max and then boot the other 2 away and eat them later on, which I think is kind of neat. Just a little difference in personality compared to some of the other ones in her genus. But beautiful spider. You can see the overall greenish in there, greenish tinge now to the carapace, where the carapace used to be gold. There also used to be some reddish hairs on the bum that aren't really there anymore, so it totally changed. I've noticed these guys hit like the 7-inch mark, and that next molt brings a totally different look to them. This happened with my species blue as well. So there we go, Phormictopus species South Hispaniola, or Phormictopus species green femur, Phormictopus species green. Who knows what it is? Hopefully someday we find out. All right, so again, probably won't do one of these for a while, but we did have a lot of fun with this one. We actually have another 40 minutes of footage that we have nobody eating. Nothing. Nobody at all. It was ridiculous, and that's usually what happens. And again, they can be fun to do. Billy and I get a good giggle out of them, but I try to keep things focused on the educational side, and there's a lot of people out there doing feeding videos, and I don't want to bog everybody down with another feeding video, but because so many people have requested them and said, please, I know you don't like doing them, but we enjoy seeing them. Here you go. So I hope you guys liked it. Anyway, that'll do it for this one. As always, if you'd like to subscribe, very much appreciated. Click the little circle up there. If you'd like to check out some more videos, over here. I answer all comments. May take me a little while lately because I'm getting a lot of them and I've been kind of bogged down, but know that if you comment, I will eventually being the key word, respond. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you guys next time.